Got it. Figured it out. All right. Good morning, everybody. So we're here today to talk about concurrent and dual enrollment. And so we're going to just go ahead and jump in. As I said before, please in the chat, go ahead and tell us what grade level you as the learner or your learner is if you are a parent, so that we just know who's here and have a good idea. If you have questions, please feel free to put them in the chat as we go, as we'll circle back around and answer some questions at the end.
Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm going to start us off. I'm Heather Fecarata. I'm one of the high school counselors. So what is it? Concurrent enrollment versus dual enrollment. So up until now, our school has only participated in concurrent enrollment, and that is when a high school learner takes a class at their community college. They have access to the complete catalog, except PE, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But the learners enroll in college sections with other college students. So your learner could be in a college class with 45-year-old students, which could be great, depending on your learner. Most community colleges, the concurrent enrollment tuition is free. Sometimes you will have to pay for books and materials and certain health fees. It just depends on the school itself. What is happening on the slide?
Yeah, Kelly Garcia, you're drawing on our slide. If you could stop annotating, that would be nice. Thank you.
Oh my God. Sorry. Anyway, so the colleges may refer to concurrent enrollment with different terms. Some of them honestly actually use the term dual enrollment, which could be really confusing with us now. But they special admit, K-12 form, so on and so forth. So it's a great opportunity for you to attend the local community college near your home, or, if online is your jam, they offer that as well. So what's dual enrollment? This is when a high school learner takes a class through their high school in a partnership with a community college. So this limits the catalog. They are specific classes that have been agreed upon between your school and that community college. The learner enrolls in high school sections only. So the only learners in that class are actual high schoolers. Dual enrollment tuition is free. And then also you don't have to pay for the books, materials, or any types of fees. So that's kind of nice. Next slide. Perfect. Here we are. Woohoo! iLEAD Exploration is proud to announce we have a dual enrollment agreement with Antelope Valley College starting this spring. So next semester, everybody. As you can see from the graphic, these are the classes that were being offered. There are multiple online classes. There are some online live classes. So the online classes are not live. The other two, Critical Thinking and Literature, Spanish 102, those are live. They do have prerequisites though, so contact your high school counselor to see if you've met those prereqs. So we are offering also a college success support lab, which is where someone will communicate with your learner weekly to make sure that they're on track with everything and turning their assignments in, and if they have questions about anything. So space is limited, honestly, and the spaces are filling up quickly. We've had a lot of students interested in this. So if your learner or you are interested in taking a class with us at Antelope Valley College next semester, let's get on that. Email your high school counselor immediately so we can get you started on that process. So why should I take college courses while I'm in high school? Well, there's several different things. One thing we actually didn't put on here was CCI, right? It helps get that when your college career ready. That's something that our school is now focusing on. Oh, I guess it's technically there in the little corner, but it's also for career as well. So a 3-unit class typically is worth a whole year's worth of high school credits. So 3 units, 10 high school credits. There are some exceptions with some of the foreign language classes at some of the colleges. They're not all created equal. So again, contact your high school counselor if you have any questions for that. So you get a weighted GPA for UC transferable courses, enhanced admissions for when you're ready to apply to 4-year. There's also many CTE courses available. I don't know if any of you have ever thought about that, right? If you're wanting to go into a trade after high school, this is a great opportunity to get started on that, right? Because like we said, most of them are tuition free. So you might as well do that while you're in high school. Most of the classes will meet the AG admissions requirements if that's the route you're going after high school. Here's a great one. You can earn your associate's degree, a certificate in your trade, complete your transfer units, all while you're in high school. It's amazing. We've had a lot of learners do that program. You could also graduate early, which is nice. So sometimes we have learners that are just a little anxious to get out of high school and get on with life, right? Even though I urge you to stay here because, I want you to stay. But it is an opportunity for you to earn some credits a little bit faster, like going back up to that 3 units is 10 high school credits. I think I have one more for me. Okay, so here we go. So here's some things to keep in mind. Only 11 units are allowed in the fall and the spring semesters, and 5 in the summer and the winter sessions. Those are what we will be adding to your high school transcript. Now, what does that mean? We've had some creativity with some of our learners and somehow taking more than that, but that's all we're going to put on your high school transcript. So keep that in mind. And really, we don't want you taking too many anyway, because guess what? Those are college classes and they're always on your college transcript, no matter how well or not well you do on them. So in addition to that, to take a community college class, you must have at least 4 semester-long high school classes on your written agreement. Does that mean I can take English at the community college? Absolutely. But then we're still going to make sure you're taking some other classes, doesn't have to be English, on your high school. Start your paperwork early. These classes fill up quickly at the community college. So right now, the counselors, we're all signing these forms for spring semester. So if you're interested in spring, let's get on that and figure out what college is right for you, whether it's ABC with our dual enrollment, or you want to do concurrent enrollment with a college near you. Definitely contact your counselor. After the class is completed, you will need to send us an official transcript so we know that those classes were done, how many credits you earned, and the grades, right? Because we're going to be keeping track of that on our high school transcript as well. A grade of C or better is required for that AG credit. So here's where I talked about in that last slide about not PE. The state doesn't allow it, strangely enough, so we can't take PE classes at the college for PE credit. And then this one I really like to stress because all learners enrolled in high school, even if you're a senior and you've already turned 18, you have to have that form signed by your academic counselor before you can register. If you don't, because I've had a lot of learners ask me, I'm 18, why do you have to sign that form? Well, if I don't sign it, then the college says, okay, great, now you're a college student, you get to pay. So I don't think you want to do that. So let's keep having your counselor sign those forms. And now I think I'm heading it off to Mrs. Clement.
Good morning. My name is Jenna Clement, academic counselor for last names H through O. Glad to see some of my families here and glad to be with you all this morning. So let's talk a little bit about what you're going to see on the community college's website when you're searching for classes that your learner might want to take. So every course is going to look something like what you see on your screen. So let's kind of go through some of that important information so that you know how that might translate to high school credit. So the first thing you're going to see for that first example, Hist 1, the history of world civilizations to 1500. You're going to see a course code, which is the Hist. You're going to see a course number, which is the 1, and you're going to see a course title. That'll give you a quick snapshot of what course it is that is being offered. Next, you're going to see how many units this is in terms of college units. And as Mrs. Veccarata mentioned, college units translate differently to high school credits. So for example, this 3-unit college course would be 10 high school credits, which is equivalent to a full year-long high school class, even though you're completing it in 1 semester. The next thing you're going to see is transferability. This one specifically says that it transfers to the CSU and UC. That's the Cal State Universities and the University of California. This is an important indicator if you're thinking that your learner might eventually go to a Cal State or UC. This tells you right there that this class will transfer and will eventually count towards a bachelor's degree at a Cal State or UC. Another thing is that if it is UC transferable, that means that iLEAD, we will give you weighted credit in your GPA, similar to an honors or an AP class. So it has to be UC transferable to get that weighted credit and get that little bit of a boost in the GPA. And then lastly, in that first example, you'll see a quick little course description. So I'll give you a quick snapshot of what this course is about, because sometimes the titles don't give you everything you need to know about what is going to actually be taught in that course. The course descriptions are important to find out if this is a good fit for the learner, if they're actually interested in this topic. And most importantly, I would say if you're unsure if this will count towards anything that they need for high school credit, please email all this information to your academic counselor and we'll let you know, yes, this will count for a certain graduation requirement, or this could be just elective credit, and you're allowed to take either. If we look at that second example, the Writing 302, College Writing Skills and Support, we can see the units are only 2 units. Sometimes we do see college courses that are a 1-unit class, a 2-unit class. So if that's the case, please email your academic counselor and we'll let you know how that translates to high school credits. You will still be able to earn high school credit if it is less than 3 units. It will just be less credit. It might be only 5, might be only 2.5. So just let us know and we will tell you what it is going to count for. The next thing you see in that writing example is a prerequisite. So for this class specifically, it says placement via current assessment process. So that means that before you can register for the class, the college is going to give your learner some sort of assessment. That might be an exam. It might be asking for records of previous classes, but they're going to need that to determine whether or not the student should be placed in this class, if it's the proper placement. And then again, we see a course description. Oh, something I forgot to mention in the first course description, if we go back up to history, the very last sentence says credits earned in either Hist 1 or 1H, not both. So what that means is this college is offering this class as a History 1 class, also a History 1 honors class. They are the same class. A student cannot earn 6 credits if they were to take both. They can only earn credits in one. At iLEAD, we do not need you to take the honors specific college course in order to get the weighted credit on your GPA. We will accept it as weighted credit so long as it's UC transferable. And then last example, we can see the Math 2 pre-calculus, the units is 5. So what this is telling me right off the bat, with this being a 5-unit class, is it's going to require more from your learner, maybe more days a week, maybe more hours, of study at home. But a 5-unit class is basically equivalent to how many hours they're going to be spending in class and studying. And this class is going to be 5 versus 3, so it's going to be more time. However, it's still 10 high school credits. So this would be, based on learner preference, if this is the right course for them. We can see that this prerequisite is a actual course prerequisite. So they're saying you will have had to complete Math 124, which in this case is probably like an Algebra 2 trigonometry class. They may accept the high school equivalent of that as a prerequisite. We might need to send the high school transcript showing you have completed a high school version of whatever Math 124 is. But there is a prereq. You have to have taken and successfully passed that class before you can go into this one. We see again transferability to the CSU and UC system, and then a description. So who is ready for college courses? A lot of time we think, okay, my student is very bright, they are smart, they can handle this level of coursework, and that is one, but not the only consideration when determining if they're ready for college level work. So let's take a look at some other things that you might consider before signing your student up for a college level class. So the first thing you need to be aware of is something called FERPA, the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. Essentially, when a person, regardless of what age they are, signs up for community college, they are now the only ones with access to their records at that college. It doesn't matter if your learner is 14, 15, they will not speak to the parents regarding anything educational based, unless your student signs a FERPA release form allowing the college to speak to their parents. So what we're saying here is that once a student is enrolled in the college, they are responsible for everything from registering to communicating, whether that's with departments on campus or with their professors. And we really do want to see that learners are ready for this, that level of communication and responsibility beyond just being able to handle the academic, requirements of a class. So they need to be able to independently navigate paperwork, emails, discussions, an online platform. If your learner has been traditionally homeschooling with paper and pencil at home, this is going to be a big jump. It's going to be very different. Most colleges are utilizing online platforms, whether to actually do the class online or to be able to access, discussion boards and things like that. So your student has to be a little bit tech savvy. They have to be able to navigate the online portals. If your learner has disabilities, they're going to need to get connected with the disabilities office at the community college to request accommodations and supports. That would be a separate process from any process they do with iLEAD because it is a different institution. And that college will offer accommodations and supports based on their institution. So they might not be exactly what iLEAD offers. So you'd want to navigate that with enough time before a class starts. Learners need to be able to communicate with their professors. If you have a super bright student, but you know that they don't like to speak up, they don't like to ask questions, they don't like to send emails, maybe they're not ready for college level work. They need to be able to communicate with their professors effectively, go to office hours, ask questions, put their thoughts in writing before they're ready for a college class. The next thing is just something to think about. College is designed for adults. And so that means some of the content in these classes it's mature and it's meant for adults. They don't change their content because they have a 14-year-old or 15-year-old in their class. So you just want to make sure you could read those course descriptions. You can request a syllabus and see what is going to be covered and whether you think your learner is ready for that content level that might be covered. And then lastly, just remembering that the professors will have the exact same standards for your high school learner as they do for the adults in their class. They don't make any exceptions to when late work can be turned in or, how long they can take to complete things. Just because your learner is a different age, the expectations are the same. And iLEAD does not, we don't get in the middle. We don't get in the middle. You are enrolled in a different institution and you're subject to their rules. Okay, so concurrent enrollment in middle school. I saw in the chat, there's a lot of families with 8th graders here. Maybe you're considering concurrent enrollment next semester while your student is still in middle school. Maybe you're here just to learn about the high school, portion of it. But you can, as a middle schooler, sign up for college classes. So here's some things to consider when you have a middle schooler. The first thing is that if you take a college class while you're in middle school, that won't be counting towards their high school credits for graduation unless the class finishes after July 1st, heading into their 9th grade year. So if they were to take like a summer class between 8th and 9th grade, as long as it's completed after July 1st, we can count it on the high school transcript. Anything taken prior to that in 7th grade, in 8th grade, the student can do it. It just won't mark off any graduation credit for high school. It will count on their college transcript though. That official college transcript, like Mrs. Feckerata mentioned, their official college GPA, all of that has begun once they take a college class. There are some colleges that will allow your learner to take the classes for free, which is what we typically see across the board, is that tuition is free for almost every student. However, they sometimes make exceptions that if you're a middle school student, you might have to pay tuition. So that's something you just want to investigate a little bit before enrolling in a class. Middle school learners will also need a form signed by the high school. So the high school academic counselor that is assigned to your student's last name will still be the one that signs off on it, even if your student is in middle school. Some colleges require some extra steps for middle school learners, like a letter of recommendation from a school principal or counselor. So if that is something that is being requested, let us know. And then lastly, these courses do not replace their core middle school subjects that they need to study. So even if you were to go and take a college level science class, you still additionally have to meet the middle school science standards. So just something to think about. In middle school, it's more for enrichment. And if your student is ready for a challenge, that would be what it's for in middle school. So let's talk about using these college units. You can acquire quite a bit, especially if you do start in middle school. But you're going to be, again, starting that college transcript, acquiring college units. So what are those going to potentially be used for? So most California community colleges, the courses will transfer to the University of California or the Cal State system. Again, we're going to look for that indicator if it is CSU or UC transferable. A lot of these courses will also transfer to out-of-state public universities as well. We don't have any sort of internal indicator to let us know. You would just have to check each individual college that is out of state and see how they accept transfer credit. However, there are some colleges that will not accept college transfer credit if it is on the high school transcript and counting for a high school graduation requirement. So just because you take a college level class does not mean we have to put it on your high school transcript. So if you were to take something that is maybe an elective and you already have enough elective credit to graduate, we don't necessarily have to put it on the high school transcript. But if it is on the high school transcript and it is counting for something that you needed for graduation, there are some four-year colleges that will not allow it to also count for their bachelor's degree. Typically, we see this in more highly selective private colleges. USC is a good example of that. A lot of the Ivy League schools, if it is on your high school transcript, they're not going to count it towards their bachelor's degree. So just some considerations to think about. And then concurrent versus dual enrollment courses and college applications, some things to think about when you're applying. So even though you may have earned quite a bit of college credit as a high school student, maybe you even earned your full AA degree or met all of the transfer requirements. In almost all cases, you're still applying as a first-time freshman for the college admissions process. You are not applying as a transfer student. So long as you don't graduate from high school, take some additional community college classes, and then apply. If you're applying while you're in high school, even with all of that college credit under your belt, you're still considered a first-time freshman for pretty much any scenario. There are a couple CSUs that may allow you to apply as a transfer student, but beneficially speaking, it's better to apply as a first-time freshman because there's more spots available. There's generally more scholarship dollars available. So this is a good thing. This is a good thing for our learners that you're able to apply as a first-time freshman. And then lastly, as you're taking those college courses, you might want to consider trying to take courses that meet the Cal GETC requirements, which are the requirements that you would be required to meet should you transfer, just in case you decide you don't want to go straight to a four-year college after high school. So if you're meeting Cal GETC requirements as a high school student, and then maybe you go to community college and finish up Cal GETC, and then transfer, or even if you go straight to a four-year college, if they were counting for Cal GETC, they should count once you get to your four-year institution, if it's a Cal State or UC.
So I'm going to take over here. I'm Beth Maddox. I work with learners with last names A through G. We're going to talk a little bit more about the CTE, or the college career technical education courses that you can do through concurrent enrollment at your local community college. CTE, Career Technical Education, is a really great opportunity to take courses from industry professionals while working toward a certificate or license in that field and gaining valuable experience in a potential career. We can only offer so much in a virtual environment or an independent study environment that we have in terms of CTE. The California Community College is an awesome opportunity to get more hands-on experience with those career technical fields. So I talked ahead of myself. So hands-on experience with state-of-the-art equipment is one of those benefits of being in those college classes for concurrent enrollment CTE. Transferable credits within certain programs. a wide variety of career paths. Some courses have age requirements. You can do career technical classes while you're in high school. You can get certificates, and then you can still apply to a four-year university and go on to college and university level stuff, but you've got a real life career certificate that you can use in the meantime. If you're at all interested in the career technical education options at the community college level, check out your local community college's CTE options, and then reach out to your academic counselor to make a plan for how you're going to fit those into your schedule. So the steps for concurrent enrollment specifically, so specifically if you are a high schooler wanting to take classes, or middle schooler wanting to take classes at your local community college, outside of that individual partnership that we have with ABC. So we're looking at our local community college. The first thing that you need to do is complete our concurrent enrollment learner agreement. This is just a document that we have you guys sign, basically saying you understand that you have to order a transcript, that there might be mature material, that all the things that we're sort of telling you about here, just signing off and saying, hey, we understand these things and we understand that this goes on our permanent college record, all of those things. So that's a document that we have you sign first. And then you're going to follow the admissions directions for that individual community college. Select your potential classes from the class schedule, complete that special admit form with the desired college course names and codes. For a digital request, so a lot of the colleges, especially since COVID, have moved to digital requests for these. You're just going to put in your academic counselor's email address. It's going to come straight to our email. We're going to sign it, send it back to the college directly. There are still some that are using PDF or paper forms. So you are going to come across some colleges that still have those paper forms. In those cases, just email that directly to the counselor. We will sign it, we will email it back to you, and then you will be responsible for submitting that directly to the college. Once the signed form is emailed back to the learner, then it's then it's your responsibility to upload it to the college. You're going to register for once that's processed and you get a word from the college, hey, you're ready to register. You're going to register for your courses directly with the college. iLEAD does not do this for you. So we're kind of hands off on that process for concurrent enrollment. We're going to approve what classes you're allowed to sign up for, and then you are going to actually be needing to go in and register for those classes. Once that class is done, that final step is that you're going to order that official transcript at the end of the semester in order to receive credit. So those are the steps for concurrent enrollment. And then we have a little example here of what a concurrent enrollment form looks like. This is a PDF version from Saddleback, which they actually just this year went to digital form. So this isn't quite relevant anymore, but we still have plenty that have paper forms that are required. So this just gives us an idea of what a sample form could look like. Your forms must be completed each semester. So for most of these colleges, you're going to do a form every semester. Every semester, you're going to put down what classes you're taking. We're going to sign off that we agree to those classes, and then you're only allowed to register in the classes that are on that form. So that's an important point to make as well. So please include the course number and the course name when you're doing this. That allows us to easily look it up and make sure it is an appropriate course. And again, I honestly will very often recommend that we put on more than we want to take. So if we know we want to take one class, but we're not sure we're going to get that one class, I always tell my learners, hey, pick 2 or 3 and put them all on there. And then they're on there and we don't have to come back and do 3 different forms when things are full. Because just so you know, concurrent enrollment high schoolers get last pick. So oftentimes things do start to fill up and we have to go to second or third choices. The best practice is to list additional courses in case the first choice is full. Registration will still be limited to no more than 11 units or the specific college maximum, whichever is lower. Okay, so that's just a sample idea of what that looks like. And then now we talked about the steps for concurrent enrollment, but now that we have this wonderful new partnership with Antelope Valley College, there are some steps that if you are interested, you can take in order to enroll in those classes starting for spring. We will have classes next fall as well, which we'll probably have more information about in the spring for that point. But the first thing you would do is to fill out that iLEAD registration interest form. And then once that is received, we will follow up and send you more information on what you need to do. Jenna has just put that link in there. So if you are interested and you fill out that interest form, you're then going to get an email from one of us saying, oh, you're interested. Great. Here's the next steps. And that would be completing your ABC application and receiving your student ID. You have to do their online orientation. There's a dualenroll.com profile that you have to set up. You have to complete the AVC My Promise grant. You're going to submit a confirmation form that says, I've done all these things. That comes through to us. And then you're going to be placed in that class. So where I said with the college concurrent enrollment, we do not register you. With the dual enrollment, we are registering you. So you're going to do all of those steps, and then we're going to get a confirmation saying, hey, all those things are done and they're ready to be placed into that class. And so we'll take care of that step for you. And then at the end, there will also be a learner family agreement that will be sent to you. It's a little different from the one that we use for concurrent enrollment, but that will be sent to you with the specific class or classes that you are taking through dual enrollment on it, so that we can all sign off an agreement that those are the classes that are being taken. And that's it. We got some resources for you guys, especially if you're doing concurrent enrollment. These are some things to think about. Rate My Professor is a review of professors and courses online. So not all professors are created equally. So you will want to take a look at what sections are available in the time that you want to take them and in the format that you want to take them. Some might be on campus, some might be online, some may be hybrid, where they have a live session and online coursework to do. And maybe you want to, if you've got the time and the energy, you want to put in a little bit of work to seeing what kind of professor is this? What are people saying about this professor? And you can look up just about any professor from any college and learn a little bit more about them on ratemyprofessors.com. So that's a good research tool to just see if I've got lots to choose from, who might be the best choice for me. Take it with a grain of salt. Most people who are going to put a review either really, really love somebody or really, really didn't like somebody. So just be mindful of that as well. The California Community College's website is a place where you can go to locate your local community college. So if you're not sure, what is my local community college? You can go to that website and literally type in your zip code, and it'll tell you, oh, this college is, 4.2 miles away from you, and this college is 11.3 miles, whatever that is. It'll tell you what's around you in terms of those community colleges. The last one here is a cvc.edu is an actual online database of online community college classes throughout the state of California. And you can attend any community college for the most part, regardless of where you live. So I've had students take classes in Santa Barbara or up in Northern California at colleges there because they were offering what they needed. And so this is a really cool resource if you're looking for a very specific class or even a niche class. Like I had a kid looking for paleontology classes, and you know what? We found one. Right? It wasn't anywhere near here, but we found one. And so that can be a really good resource if we're looking, especially for a unique niche class. Let's say it's like the third year of I don't know, like Korean or something, and we're having trouble finding that somewhere. This will show you online where in the state of California are they offering online Korean classes, and you can then go through the process of registering for those. So those are just a few resources that we want to put in your fingers so that you guys can use that when you're looking at those community college classes. So that's it for us. That's all the things we have to share today about concurrent and dual enrollment. We welcome your questions here, and we'll turn off the recording in a little bit and actually let you guys talk with us a little bit if we need to. But if you have direct questions that are very specific, you can always email highschool@ileadexploration.org, or you can email your academic counselor directly. So again, our alpha split is listed there, myself A through G, Mrs. Clement H through O, and Mrs. Veccarata for P through Z. We also put our college advisors information on here if you have college specific questions as well. And so if there's specific questions you want to ask us, please, that are very specific to your situation, email us. But we're going to open things up to questions here as well in just a minute.